Google should cap all Stadia streams at 1080p. Feel free to blame Nvidia for this thought. A hard resolution limit is just one way Nvidia made GeForce Now so reliable in its first few weeks on the open market. But for Stadia, this move would be more than a technical boundary. It would be a sign that Google understands what players want from streaming today, not just in the future. Google understands the future of cloud gaming just fine. In fact, it's what most of their marketing materials focus on: a grand vision of gaming through hyperlinks, YouTube embeds, and Chrome browsers, all seamlessly piped to any screen at the highest possible resolution and frame rate. During Stadia's reveal event at GDC, Google promised lag-free 4K gaming at launch and even mentioned 8K streams as a possibility down the line.
When Stadia launches, we will have increased performance significantly to support resolutions up to 4K at 60 frames per second. And in the future, we'll be able to stream games in up to 8K resolution.
Google presented Stadia as the wireless, platform-agnostic utopia of players' dreams, which is why it was such a bummer when the service launched and didn't deliver on many of these goals. For many early users, Stadia games are playable, but they're also stuttery, laggy, and definitely not in 4K. Meanwhile, Nvidia understands where cloud gaming is today. After all, they've done a lot of research. The company launched GeForce Now in the beginning of February, after 7 years of beta testing.
Nvidia's GeForce Now feature will turn any Mac or PC into a full-fledged gaming machine.
The launch was subdued, but critically successful, and early players have been pleased with the stability of Nvidia's streams, even in online games like Fortnite, Destiny 2, and League of Legends. In numerous comparisons, GeForce Now outperforms Stadia in image fidelity and connectivity. It even supports ray tracing and allows players to load any title from their existing Steam or Epic Games Store libraries and play it from the cloud. That means GeForce Now supports more than 1,000 games out of the gate. And of course, every stream is capped at 1080p and 60 frames per second. And players are completely fine with that. Cloud gaming is designed for folks with an appetite for high-fidelity games, but who don't own a rig capable of playing these titles. In 2020, these players are simply looking for a stable entry point into the market, not a bleeding-edge graphics package. Before anything else, cloud gamers just want to play and forget that they're streaming. Here's the thing: Stadia only supports 4K on TVs for now. PC streams are capped at 1080p. However, you'd never know this from Google's marketing materials, which are more concerned with the service's ability to support 4K for paid users, of course. It feels like there's an asterisk after every bold claim that Google makes about Stadia, adding invisible barriers to a system that's supposed to be borderless. So even though Google's focus with Stadia is on providing the best resolution of any streaming service out there, on PC it's technically on par with GeForce Now. And in reality, it tends to look worse because Google has locked down graphics customization on Stadia. It's clear that with Stadia, Google is focused on the long game. And that's the concerning part. Google is building the basic structure of a global cloud gaming service and simultaneously pushing that fledgling infrastructure to perform at peak levels. It's tricky as hell. This tightrope walk has led to a frustrating launch for the service's first players, each of whom spent $130 on a Founders Edition. They've complained about a lack of new games, significant updates, and promised features like in-browser 4K, family sharing, and full Google Assistant functionality. This week, Google had some legitimate Stadia news. The service is rolling out to 18 new Android phones, meaning it's no longer Pixel exclusive. There's still no word on an iOS launch. I talked with Stadia's head of gamer experience, Andrei Doronichev, just before this news dropped, and he reiterated the Google philosophy when it comes to Stadia, saying, "It's not about a specific feature, it's about a big, bold statement of where we're going." It just feels like Google doesn't want to take the time to get there. With a handful of hollow promises behind it and an inconsistent pipeline ahead, Google's foundation for the future of cloud gaming is fragile. It could easily crumble under the weight of the company's ambitious plans, just like we've seen with Google Glass, Project Ara, Google Daydream, and just this week, Google Station. GeForce Now isn't the only Stadia competitor out there, and while it's functional, it's certainly not perfect. For example, the service lost its entire library of Activision Blizzard games overnight, amid rumors that the publisher signed an exclusivity deal with Stadia. This isn't a problem specific to Nvidia. The video game industry runs on exclusivity contracts and distribution deals, and these systems will only become more powerful as streaming and subscription services take root. For its part, Nvidia's service is technically sound, its parameters are clear, and a vast majority of the time it works as advertised. And of course, it's all capped at 1080p. For Stadia, it's cheeky to suggest that capping every stream at 1080p would fix all of the service's problems, and that's not what I'm saying. A move like this, toward clarity and transparency, would be emblematic of a strategy shift that Stadia desperately needs. It would be proof that Google recognizes the shortcomings of its system and is working within the bounds of reality to actually fix these problems, rather than blindly dreaming about the future. Because while Google is busy sleeping, Nvidia and other huge tech companies are wide awake. Stay tuned to Engadget.com and subscribe for all the latest tech news.